We're recording. Good. What's up, man?
What's up?
How you
Pretty
doing?
good. I'm doing great.
This is finally going on.
Finally.
This should have happened a week ago.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess life happened.
yeah, it's alright. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, I was gonna still go on live on my own the very day, but then I did the day afterwards. And, you know, the reason I wanted to go, despite the fact that you didn't, you didn't have the chance or you didn't show up, was because I needed to solidify my philosophy of how to get things done. You know,
What do you mean by that?
I mean that if you ever want something to happen, if you want to bring something into fruition, you need to be the force behind people taking it seriously.
Right,
You know,
of course.
and if you're going to bring something about in a specific time, things have their way of, canceling and expecting you to cancel along. I would think of a day where you wanted to go somewhere and then you didn't, and you had a plan with a couple of people. Generally, there is somebody who cancels.
Right.
And then a snowball effect takes place.
It's like circumstances.
Yeah. He says, I'm sorry, I can't. And then he says, you know what? Yeah, he couldn't, so why can't I? You know, I can't neither. And then the second person cancels, and then the whole event is canceled.
So everybody's a part of the problem.
Well, but then the initial step that led to all of this is the fact that somebody didn't show up. And I know that this works in opposite. As in, if you are first to do something, people will follow up. And it's going to grow. So I decided to get this going with whatever means I have at the moment in order for it to eventually grow and escalate up.
Okay.
And this is something that I have as a philosophy for anything, basically. You know,
Understandable, yeah.
if I want to create a soccer team, I need to take a ball and go to a stadium every day. Eventually, it's going to gain popularity. Eventually, it's going to work out. But then initially, some movement has got to take place.
Yeah, so you're pretty progressive. You're big on progressive, prolific, solid. You're big on solid.
Yeah.
You like on solid plan. That's good.
Think about it, man. I mean, what thing catches on straight away?
What thing catches on straight
Of course,
away?
I'm also partially saying this, largely saying this because, I'm making a video and there is a little bit of inner conversation about, man, what are you doing? This is not going to work out. This is, an embarrassment, a waste of time.
By who?
This is an inner monologue that everybody probably has when first doing something.
Yeah, like, I think we're all pretty self-critical to some degrees. Some are very self-critical, some are not self-critical at all. They're not self-aware. They don't care, they just do things. And if you don't have thoughts and ideas or something that leads you to do something, then you're not any better than an animal.
This is actually something that I used to think about. I used to think that everybody, absent an inner monologue, is stupid.
Yeah.
But I figured out that I was pretty much wrong.
Yeah.
Because I think
right.
we are anxious. I think our inner conversation is symptomatic to a worry that we have.
Right.
That we're not good enough. This is an anxious behavior. And people absent this anxiousness, this anxiety, are absent the inner monologue. They're as normal as we are. Just, not as reflective of their nature.
Yeah, I think you definitely got to be self-reflective. You definitely need introspection. You definitely need to self-criticize, but not too much, because you're going to end up not doing the thing at all.
That's
For some cases, man. I mean, it depends. I think perhaps it has something to do with insecurity. What do you think?
I think so.
Is that a potential thing?
Absolutely. I mean,
Is that possible?
As you
do you
said,
think it's because of insecurity?
Before I get to that, I would like to ask a question, regarding what you just said.
Go ahead.
You said, you need to be self-reflective.
Yes.
Self-critical. Do you think this is something that happens or comes to be, or something that you must bring about? Does this reflection, should it be generated, or should it happen, take place on its own?
I think it just needs to happen.
So there shouldn't be active actions that try to bring this inner monologue about. It should just happen.
Not sure what you mean by that.
I mean that, let's suppose somebody is not self-critical.
Right.
He doesn't think, am I good enough? Am I doing this right? Am I being
right.
what I need? He doesn't think about that at all. Do you think he should stop and say, okay, what is wrong? What's wrong with me?
Mm-hmm.
I got to figure out something. Because probably something is wrong with me. Let me figure something out. What's wrong? What's wrong?
Damn, I think...
Should he have this? Or if he's not worried about it, just don't sweat it, bro. You're fine. What do you think?
I think that's still pretty vague, because I think it depends.
Go on.
It depends. Like if it's something related to you, like in your life, that's something that's on a large scale. But if we're talking about a process, like for example, a video, I think you need to self-reflect and self-criticize. Period. For embetterment, but. When you talk about something as large as life, or like life philosophy or something, that's not something you can figure out overnight. That's for one, and so I think it requires a lot of thinking. Actually. I think it requires a lot of time and a lot of research, a lot of introspection. I think we definitely need more introspection. I think if people did some more introspection on themselves, I think they can at least make things easier to embetter themselves and embetter their lives. At least when it comes to things they can control.
I agree with this.
Yeah.
Of course, because nothing is perfect. And
of course.
Even if something meets the criteria of perfection, the criteria of perfection can be, criticized and made better. Which means that I definitely must agree with this, but then what I'm trying to say is, if somebody does not have that inner voice of criticism, and they feel they're perfect, somebody who feels, oh man, look at me, I look perfect. This is as good as I can be.
Yeah, but that's narcissism, though.
Is it now?
I think it is. I think if a person finds themselves perfect, I think that's pretty narcissistic, don't you think?
That's interesting.
It's pretty far.
Because if you compare somebody who has an ongoing obsession
with themselves,
with their insecurities.
Oh, okay.
And they keep saying, "Oh my God, look at me! Oh man."
Right. I think I forgot what it's called. Anorexic.
I don't know. I think so. Right?
I forgot. I don't know. But I think it's an actual psychological.
Yeah,
it's pathological. It's
basically I've found a good explanation for it, so let's not sweat it.
Okay.
Now, this is considered an issue, but so is being narcissistic. Well, it's feeling okay, accepting yourself, feeling comfortable.
Yeah, that's. I think that's the middle ground. No, I don't know. I think it's definitely not the middle ground, because the both extremes are just way too apart from themselves. But I think what is necessary for each individual, at least, it's safe to say that you do need to accept yourself. Before anything, you need to accept yourself, right? And then you can move on from there. I think you need self-acceptance before anything. And then you can do some improvements on a large scale, for example. I think it's necessary. You can't just become better. You can't just...
I agree.
But yeah.
But then, this leads me
kind of deviated there.
No, this leads me... The fact that you're pushing key terms such as improvement, this is embedded within your ideas. Even, not to your best of consciousness, you still think of these terms. This results in me contemplating what is right or perfection. Yeah. What are we moving towards? Why are we trying to achieve certain good ideas? But now, before we carry on with this, I'd like to talk a little bit about what we're doing right now. Okay.
So what are we doing right now?
That's a very good question. What are we doing? What's the point of this?
To me?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know exactly what, except for the fact that I know that this has gotta happen.
This does. It really it's gotta happen, because to anyone watching this,
there'll be people.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know one that will watch it all, and that's enough for me.
Ah, man, that's great. That's great. That's great.
Of course, this is a technique for me to be free of worry. I know one that will be there. That's enough.
So you have support.
One. That's enough.
Why?
Because if I expect more, then the quality of what I want to achieve will degrade. As in, you know
Why?
what? I'm not doing what I want, so might as well just, whatever. And then you become negative about it. So might as well just accept the fact that you're aiming low, and then reach for the stars.
Right. Right. That's pretty fair.
Yeah, but this is a defense mechanism, to be honest. As in,
Yeah, I think it's more
I
of a
free
defense.
myself of expectation in order not to be disappointed.
Classic.
But then it gets you going.
It does get you going. I think there's better mechanisms or thought patterns.
I'm sure.
We'll get into that later.
Actually, I talked to a psychiatrist once. I talked to a psychiatrist, and she looked at me. She was like, "Hey, you adopt a lot of, of course."
Defense mechanisms?
Yeah, but then I phrased them in a very, let's say, depressed way. Because at the
cynical,
time, yeah,
pejorative,
yeah,
negative.
It was a little bit cynical because at the time I was going through a very rough patch.
Right.
When my grandma died, and at the time I was not at the top of my game, given living, So I adopted certain, as you say, thought patterns that were characterized as being too much of defense mechanisms. But then the reason I want to do this is because, I thought about writing, but then writing coming to fruition and materializing as publishing and
getting it out there.
Let's suppose you are published, then how long is it going to take to build an audience? How long is it going to take for people of all categories of society to be able to access your ideas? I think it's a little bit limited, and it's
outdated.
I wouldn't say it is.
I would say writing is outdated because people.
On the contrary,
Really?
I personally feel that it's something that I'm going to be doing towards the older years of my life, because I'm going to be better posed, better worded.
Definitely,
and that's going to help me out. Right.
Yeah. But I think in general, writing, like, journalism is dying.
Yeah, you're right.
The internet, social media has taken over.
Definitely. So, to speak to that, to elaborate on that point, I think that right now, social media is something that we access and we interact with moreover than, written journalism or even, television, social media probably is a better tool if you want to inspire or interact.
I think it's optimal. But I think people can't really let go of the aesthetic of reading books.
You're right.
So there's that.
Definitely.
I don't think they're ready to completely give up on that, certainly. But the social media is the future. The internet is the future.
But then, if you talk to people who are book readers, they would specifically say it's not the same and it can never be.
Right.
What do you say to that?
To each his own. More power to you.
To each his own.
It's pretty subjective.
I believe it is.
It's pretty subjective. I don't know. I like reading on PDF.
But I
think people should read more PDF.
It's easily accessed.
But it is more supportive to the author if you buy the book, an actual copy. Yeah, obviously.
It's more supportive to the publishing house. Yeah. Because the author will still make money online.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. With these kinds of things, writing or audio, I think that this is more accessible to the young audience, and it's something that is easier basically to access than a book.
Yeah.
And it's easier to make than a book, because right now I don't have to be that refined in English. I don't have to be that
I think that depends on the standards. I think it depends on your standards. If you want to aim high, if you want to make videos that are high quality, you definitely have to spend a lot of time with it. I think you definitely have to spend a lot of time with anything if you want to be that good enough to actually leave your listeners, your viewers, actually interested and hungry for more. So I think you definitely have to refine everything really. You know?
Yes.
I think it's pretty flexible.
I agree, but then think.
I think the more effort you put in something, and the more research, and the more informed, and the higher the understanding you have on whatever it is that you're trying to do, you have obviously more chances of succeeding, right?
That is correct. But
yeah.
See, the difference in between making a video like this one,
yeah, of course,
and writing, the reason the refining process is different is because if I want to make a video, getting going does not require much preparation, does not require much mastery, even though this is low quality, but it is going to be up.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is, the condition here is that you would need to be a hell of a person in general, because I think the actual focus here is obviously what you have to say, but also you in general. You know,
okay.
I think that's what you have to offer. I mean, when we're talking about podcasts, for sure, because like in a podcast,
correct.
The essence in the podcast is two things: the person and what they have to say, their opinions. You know, they're articulate and all. But not that what I'm saying is any different from writing, except
it is.
Writing is less engaging to some people. I mean, sure.
Yeah, you are very opinionated tonight. You're very much against writing.
Yeah,
I'm like, hey, writing is old, people. Give it up.
Nah, not really, bro.
It sounds much like it, man.
I think podcasts are just amazing.
I agree.
It's a great platform.
But think about it again. We're auditory students, learners.
And we're very visual.
We're very visual.
Human beings are very visual.
But then, you know...
It's fascinating.
I'm doing the degree in literature, and I cannot be bashing literature here. Because, you know, it's going to compromise my credibility. But then again, not that I care much about that, but then I had moments when reading books that got me, you know, fascinated. Like, whoa. I love the fact that I'm drawing up the world in my head rather than have it exposed to me.
Yeah.
You know, reading scenes, you're like imagining them happening. It's a different type of entertainment than just having, you know, a scene being shot for you to see.
Definitely.
So there is, but then the idea that this is easier to do is that I don't have to be a great writer. I don't have to have, you know, the intelligence.
You have to be a good speaker, though.
But I am.
You are a good speaker?
I am.
Okay, what makes you think that you're a good speaker?
Well, basically, I have good conversation geography. I know how to keep a conversation going. I know what we're trying to achieve. I enjoy speaking.
Okay.
I enjoy it. It's not a task or a chore. It's something I do for pleasure.
For enjoyment.
Yeah, for pleasure. I enjoy it. I enjoy the nature of the task rather than it being something I must fulfill or carry out. It's something that I like doing.
Interesting.
Especially in English.
I don't think a lot of people can say that.
Well, especially
I don't think a lot of people can say that.
When I first began making videos on my own, you know, I never thought I would ever have a problem deciding on what to talk about. But then, you know, when I was on my own, right now I feel very comfortable because I'm with you. And I know that there is this, you know, give and take, this
chemistry.
Dialoguing is easy, you know. But then doing it on your own, you keep thinking, okay, I'm going to talk about that, but that's not much, you know. I'm not that informed about it. I was going to talk about extroverts and introverts, but I was like, do I know enough? I mean,
yeah, that can be very challenging. Yeah. I think it's a lot of research to do,
especially
when you talk about something.
That's a good point to make. The fact that this is not expert stuff. Okay.
Yeah, obviously.
This is just random raven.
We're just amateurs. Steam. You know, just amateurs trying to do a little thing here, trying to have a conversation or discussion, whatever. But I guess you can choose topics that are easy to talk about. You reach
that's the thing. I don't
reach the more people.
I don't want to really choose. I don't want to really research. I'll explain.
You have to, I guess.
Do you support this?
I support this, yeah.
Why? Why do you think this is useful? Suppose, okay, you personally know me.
Okay.
Had you not personally, knew me, had you not personally known me, you wouldn't, watch this video and, tune in for 25 minutes. Probably not. Or for 30 minutes or an hour. But then knowing me, you're going to watch it out of curiosity just to get to know me or just to support me. But, see, the idea behind
answer to that is yes.
Yes.
Unfortunately, is yes. I'm going to be real with you. It's the same thing for me. It's like, because I make music. I'm an artist. I make music, and for example, I put music out there on SoundCloud, for example, and I get feedback from people, and I get feedback from my friends, and my friends are supportive. They're obviously more supportive than, strangers, people, random people on the internet, right? And I think it's the same thing, really. I think this is art. Do you think this is art?
Yeah, actually.
Can this be like the next art form?
To be honest,
podcast. I mean, it is communication, yeah, under that label.
See,
but
if you watch my podcast, there is an obvious, connection to the JRE. I mean JRE.
It's a big inspiration,
yeah. Because I personally don't have the attention span required for reading. As in, I tune out after 3 pages.
Very, very impatient.
I could read, force myself to read 5 or 6 pages. But then I don't have that attention span, the necessary attention span. But then for podcasts that are not much, they don't really require a lot of focus. I could watch 10-minute videos, like Joe Rogan on da-da-da-da. I can do that. It's not something that requires a lot of effort. And I could tune out as I'm playing a game or texting and I'm listening at the same time. It's not something that requires full attention. It's
a better platform overall, but make no mistake, I think reading definitely has its place. Like if you're trying to read psychology, for example, and you have a psychology book, then it depends. Do you think it's more useful to read an entire book or to attend like psychology lectures? What do you think is optimal? Because
it depends. It depends on.
I think it's pretty vague.
I think it's pretty much the same thing.
I'm probably not informed.
I probably think it's pretty much the same thing. It depends on the learner then. See, I personally, try to read Alan Watts.
Okay.
And I listen to his lectures.
Who is Alan Watts?
Alan W. Watts. That's a very good question to ask. So Alan W. Watts is a British philosopher that talks about, that evokes existential questions and answers them through a variety of ways. For example, there's the key question of where does the universe come from, and where do we come from? Yeah, so he answers these two questions.
From what perspective? Physics? Biology?
That's the point. He answers
philosophy?
Through all of these, For example, he calls them models of the universe. You can find this,
models
online of the universe.
Okay.
He has, 3 models. One is the ceramic model of the universe, which is basically religions. What monotheistic religions entail. A universe where everything is being created by a god. This is theological. So this is evoked through a theological point. And then he has a second one that is called a fully automatic model of the universe, which is a scientific, science-based approach. The ceramic model of the universe is God creating every single thing in the universe. The notion of creation and a creator. And then you have the fully automatic model of the universe, automatic, is when everything just came to be out of, a continuum of existence of the universe that has always been. And then, it evolved towards what it is now. There was a Big Bang at the time, and then we evolved
somehow
to be. And, he says, we all were a Big Bang billions of years ago.
Yeah.
And now we became, John Smith and John Doe, etc. So we've taken names, but we all are, in essence, the universe.
Connected.
And this is him giving a hint of his third theory, of the universe, that is the Buddhist idea.
Okay.
He was contrasting, when making the seminar, he was contrasting the Western philosophy, the Western Hemisphere's line of thought, with that of the Eastern. And then comparing the way a person with a Western philosophy, they would ask the question, how did it come into the universe? But then a Chinese person, due to their Western...
Taoism?
Eastern...
Tao?
Yeah, Taoism.
Yeah.
Due to their philosophy, they don't think of themselves as creations, or that's a wrong word for it, as beings that came into the universe. But they think of themselves as beings that came out of the universe.
Right.
And they believe that they are the universe, and they grew within the universe, out of the universe. Now, what he does through all of this is, try to scope all of the human knowledge through all of the realms.
Okay.
Now, as I said, I tried reading him, and I tried listening to his seminars.
Okay.
And the two are heavily dependent on me. It's pretty much the same thing. Is his seminar worded, but then listening to him does me better good. It does me better. It's just better for me. I can listen, I can enjoy it. But then if I go on and read him, I'd be as fascinated for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think the platform of reading books is still incredibly interesting and
absolutely
and useful for someone who wants to do research on something. It's a pretty credible source. Because listen, man, you're not gonna pay so much money and spend so much time writing something and getting it published and promoting it for it to be not non-credible. But I think it's like the difficulty of getting it out there. The easier, the more chances that it's clickbait content. It's for personal purposes, obviously,
so
and it's to...
That basically speaks to what I was saying.
It's just so sloppy, so low effort. But make sure, like, if someone is gonna just do so much effort and basically do everything they can, and focus on one thing, best believe it's gonna be at least credible, viable.
Generally, that's very nice. I couldn't agree more. Basically, speaks to the fact that I feel that my writings, there probably are some to come, but then I feel this necessity to have them done towards my older years, as I previously phrased. I don't feel that doing it now will achieve the right kind of credibility, given the fact that I want to write about philosophy. It's very premature. I don't know much.
Yeah.
I haven't read the right books
That's
yet.
completely fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I think
I'm not well read.
Yeah.
I'm good in philosophy. I'm a philosopher. I philosophize.
Yeah, I definitely respect, your confidence in doing this, even if we're not informed. Like, people need to know that. Like,
this evokes the question of, why am I doing this in the first place?
Why are we doing this in the first place?
Here's the answer.
Interesting.
How many people do you think in Algeria truly appreciate people like us?
Appreciate what?
People like us who are open-minded, articulate, reflective, and all in all, I don't know. I don't want to say cool.
Yeah.
Because it's like, look at me, I'm awesome.
Yeah.
But then that's basically the idea. See, how many people, I personally yearn for this. I really would love to find somebody online talking about our current life in Algeria. Well, not necessarily in Algeria, because this could be more than that.
Yeah, sure.
Gradually.
Sure.
But then, I see
it
that...
It starts here.
I said something earlier today to someone. I spent the day with someone today. And I said, hey, human happiness, is generally found within others. Your happiness is within the person sitting next to you. Get it out of them. So I see that many people, and I would like to write something, I want to write something by the title of the fact that one person's ideas could be another person's revelation. As in, if you and I talk about the existence of God,
Okay.
or talk about liberalism and conservatism, talk about capitalism and socialism, if we talk about these kinds of notions, we take them right in stride. For us, there's something that is not that special. Or even the fact that we're
Dissect
speaking,
them.
just the fact that we're talking in American English, in well-tuned American English. This is something that we take, to be simple.
For granted.
For granted.
You and I.
Yeah, we do, because it's something that we've been doing for a very long time.
Yeah. It feels natural. It feels.
It is.
Yeah.
But then, to us, even though we don't give this much importance, many of your listeners could really appreciate this. Many of the terminology we're using right now is something that could be new to some of our listeners.
Yeah.
And that could be beneficial for them. It gradually will be beneficial for us.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I'm pretty sure that if we talk a little bit about technology and making music, I'm going to learn certain things from you that I never heard before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gladly.
And vice versa, about talking to me, I mentioned, Alan Watts' they're not much hypotheses, but I could present certain hypotheses about the universe. And this would be something that is new to certain listeners, which is beneficial. I take that for granted.
I agree, man. I think we definitely lack
sharing.
We lack so many things in Algeria. Like, we gotta be honest about that. Like, we lack so many things. We lack education, discussion. I think we definitely lack discussion. We don't talk about so many things in Algeria. That's pretty. One of the reasons
why I'm making this and steadily moving towards a podcast is because I want to exercise freedom of speech. And I'm ready for whatever.
You're an advocate of freedom of speech.
I will be in the embodiment of freedom of speech to the best of my ability, and then whatever consequence, I want to see that. I want to have bigotry delivered to me. I want to see people attack me in the street because we complain about it. There's no discussion in Algeria. There is no this in Algeria. There's no that in Algeria. But then nobody really takes the first step of doing it.
Exactly.
So there is no actual.
Exactly. So this could be
clash.
This is our contribution.
So for me,
this is our Kickstarter, right?
There you go. I want to. It's like I'm a skeptical individual by nature. I don't take something to be true unless I have proof that it is. See, if you tell me in Algeria I'm beaten because I'm not religious,
or simply for being a woman, man,
or simply for being a woman,
crazy.
That's something that is being said all the time. Okay, I've seen videos, but I still want to have it delivered to me. I want to feel it. I want to be the victim of it to truly believe it. I don't want to, operate on hearsay. So, and I think that based on certain lines that are drawn, people tend to not approach the line, limiting their life.
People are scared, bro.
There you go.
People are scared.
It doesn't mean that Algeria lacks discussion. It means that people don't dare to discuss. And I'm daring to discuss. And we'll find where that line is drawn. We'll find out where that line is really drawn.
Definitely.
But then you'd have to actually go for it first. You can't sit around and complain about the absence of something that you never demanded.
That's true. It's very true.
That's basically why I'm doing this.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're talking about
11% or 1% battery? It's 11%.
It's 11. We're good.
So let's okay this and go on.
We're good. So, some people don't have a voice. I think some people don't have a voice.
I agree.
Here. That's a problem.
But I don't have a voice, I must say.
I think you do have a voice.
I want to think, not me.
It depends. Like if you have a cause, if you're trying to defend something, if you're trying to defend a minority, if you're trying to denounce tyranny, hypocrisy, just anything bad in general, you need a platform for doing so, and you need to you need to have reinforcements. You need to have support. To get those ideas out there, to denounce, to speak up about something that, hey, this is something pretty messed up happening in society right now, and people are not talking about it, and that's a real problem, So there are some people out there trying to denounce, trying to be supportive, trying to, unite and talk about it, but I see. Like, I think we're a long way from. It's pretty sad to say, but from becoming a fully developed society. We're very far.
Again, I must keep beating you with this idea.
Yeah, I
disagree
agree.
with that.
I agree. No. I agree. I think.
Come on.
I thought you was gonna say. I thought you were gonna say something else.
Here's why I disagree with what you're saying. Because we're not. We are not. The Algerian people are unknown. We don't know what Algerians think. We don't. We think we know.
Because they don't have a voice?
I'll say this.
It's because they're not out there? You think?
Listen, 10%. Here's the thing. I want you to agree with me or disagree.
Okay.
90%, 95%, 99%, 100 freaking percent of the Algerian population complains about Algeria. Correct?
That's true.
Now let me go on.
That's true. You watching this right now probably complain about Algeria. That's facts.
Now, let me go on.
Okay.
50%, up to 60%, 80% of my friends complain about the lack of freedom of speech in Algeria, the lack of modernity, the lack of freedom in Algeria. Yet they are the embodiment of Algeria. But they complain about the absence of it, and they're my friends.
Okay,
I know 20% that are complete radicals. I do. But then the majority of the friends I have are tolerant of the majority of the ideas.
Which ideas?
And I'm talking about the youth, okay?
Okay.
They're liberal. They're for freedom. They're, for the better part, not homophobes. They're not against freedom of speech. Or
oppressive.
They're very open to what they know and what they don't.
Okay,
They are very accepting of others. Imagine.
That's the start. That's where it starts. You have to.
But this already contradicts what you were saying.
What?
You said,
What do you mean?
We're very far, but then everybody's saying we're very far.
I'm saying
how far are we? If everybody thinks
I'm,
we are.
I'm saying we're very far from being self-actualized as a nation. From
Obviously
being up there in the standards of the world, man. Like when you look at, let's compare Algeria to Morocco or like Tunisia or something, man. Like
I think that neither you or I can, in fact, draw that comparison.
Okay, why
because
not?
we don't know. Okay.
Yeah, we don't know how it's like.
This is going to be controversial because most of the people hate the country and already have, a very rock solid nail in the coffin opinion. But then here's what I think. Okay.
Okay.
I was in Sablet the other day, and I saw a religious couple sitting and having dinner.
Okay.
Next to them was a family with women, with girls and guys sitting down and smoking in front of one another.
Okay.
And then two couples passed by, the men in suits, the women in mini dresses, and then there was another woman standing around, in a burqa, and using her smartphone. Another bearded guy passing by, two young kids in a family passing by, me and my cousin drinking tea. And I was like, hey, bro, Algeria ain't doing that bad.
Yeah,
look at this.
Okay, yeah, but I still think it's pretty inductive to use that as a main example.
Agreed. Because I've also seen people say, F you, the gay people walking by.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, people are so oppressive. It's crazy. People are so oppressive.
Some are.
People are very traditional in
Some
thinking.
are, which is, okay, I have a problem with let's say, okay, how do I phrase this delicately? I have an issue with the traditional line of thinking that I'm surrounded by.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of an issue.
I think all young people have this problem growing up. I mean, from a psychological standpoint, you're trying to mature, you're trying to grow up, you're trying to abandon your former self and improving and growing into this adult version of you. So you're trying to acquire independency, right?
Yeah.
So you're trying to break free from those barriers and everything that is forced, really. You know, I think it's forced because you have opinions that you are forced to believe, or else you're going to be, you know, oppressed or harassed or belittled by your parents, by any authority, really, you know. And then it happens on a street level where people are just constantly, I mean, okay, people are constantly going to find anything to complain about, to attack.
This is interesting,
It's
man.
a given.
This should be a freaking
But-
right, you know.
It should be a what?
Not being a victim to this should be a right. It should be a basic right. But this is the wrong attitude, you know. See,
Yeah.
see, it's very submissive and non-productive. A better approach would be this: actually battling it, or ignoring your environment and doing what you want to do. Getting the ball rolling towards improvement. Pragmatic movement.
Yeah, but...
And I remember, you know, many people told me, hey, why don't you start a show? Speaking of which, do you think there is a way for me to be filmed, interacting with people in the street, professionally?
On the street?
You know, I've seen a lot of YouTube videos
Okay.
made of people, you know, just talking to strangers, making tricks and whatever.
Yeah.
I want to start doing that.
In Algeria?
Why not?
I'm not saying why not.
This is this is me saying the reason as to why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm doing it is why not? Not really. There's a reason behind
There's probably a reason behind it.
I want to test.
Yeah.
I'm not a, you know, what do you say? A sociologist? I'm not.
A social experiment, not social justice warrior, a social experimentalist.
Yeah, basically.
Right?
That's what I'd be.
That does like statistics or whatever.
I wouldn't be doing statistics.
What would you be doing?
I'd be just gauging our, you know.
Gauge is a good word.
Gauge is a good word. Gauging is what I'd be doing. Alright, I think that's long enough.
I think that's long enough. I think that's pretty good.
How
did you feel? How do you feel about it?
I feel pretty good about it. I think this is gonna be way, way better as time ticks by, man.
Probably, man. I'm pretty unprepared. He's pretty unprepared.
I think I was born ready for this.
Come on.
Nah, come on. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but I mean it. I really enjoy this. I love this.
Me too.
I'm doing this as, you know, I must say, I was inspired by Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
He said something, you know,
Pretty good.
about
I like H3H3. Do you like H3H3 videos?
I do. Yeah,
You
well, yeah, never mind. That was actually natural. Here's what Joe said. He once said, you know, I started this podcast as a passion project, and I snatched that idea. Passion project. I have one day a week that's absolutely free, and that's Tuesday. And I'm dedicating that to my passion projects, to what I want to be doing. You know, I'm organizing the event on, you know, in the school every Tuesday at 1 o'clock in Algiers.
Okay.
And, you know, it's fun.
Let's get it.
And this is absolutely what I really enjoy. I love this.
Beautiful.
I love sharing what I know and learning. And having it done in a very natural way, because this is something I'd enjoy watching.
Yeah, you know, the difference between making actual podcasts and YouTube videos is that this is much more honest.
It is.
You don't have any cuts. You don't have like, hey guys, welcome to my YouTube video. Oh man, I gotta do it again. Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube video. Today we're gonna talk about, you know?
That's me making the video for. I was like, hi, welcome to my event. No, I just did it 10 times and I was like, you know what? Here's a mistake and here's a mistake and I'm going with it.
Exactly. Like this is much more honest. This is, you know,
it's real.
it's
down to
real.
earth.
It's real.
Now light that joint. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's get it.
3,
See ya.
2,
Thank you for watching.
1.
Bye.
Peace.